Senator Bonoff.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise today as a co-author on this bill, and I am so honored to speak on the Senate floor on this issue because I know that I'm not standing up here as Terri Bonoff, State Senator. I'm standing here to bring a voice for all of those who are not standing on the Senate floor but feel so strongly. I'm standing here for my family, for my friends, for constituents, for really people all over the state, all over the country, and even around the world, because this conversation that we're having here today is not an isolated conversation. In chambers like ours around the country and in places around the world, these same conversations are taking place. So I stand here with a very strong commitment to, number one, to love, to family, and to what the power of love and family and marriage brings to our overall overarching message of hope and peace. So while those are very broad concepts, I want to speak for a little bit about the personal faces of who we represent as we stand here today. I began by bringing forward an image of my brother, who I have spoken about on the Senate floor when this subject has come before us in the past. So I'll just speak briefly that it wouldn't be right for me to take this green vote without honoring who he is and what his life has been about. My brother told me over 30 years ago that he was gay, and we in our family welcomed him with open heart, of course, but also felt the fear of what his life would look like. Fighting discrimination, making sure that he could have the same kind of happiness that me, my husband, our children have. Well, my brother has led an extraordinary life, and we are so very proud of him. I stand here in memory of a very close friend, Michael Morrison. I went to college at Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts, and he was my closest friend. I went back to Minnesota after to work in our family business, and he went to grad school at UCLA. I would go and visit him from time to time. Michael contracted AIDS shortly after he started grad school, and just a few years later passed away. So I stand here to take this green vote in honor of his memory. My neighbors, just down the edge of the street, Matthew, my husband, and I were driving home the other day, and Betty and Sue, Luz Maria and Teresa were standing on the corner doing yard work, and they said, "We're just talking about you. We're so proud of what you're doing in the Minnesota Senate. Please vote for us." And their son today is up in the gallery, Alex, and so I pressed this green vote for Alex. Members, those are some of the faces that I bring here. Most recently, I learned of another that I didn't even know I'd be voting for today, and that is a young intern of mine, Brent. I came home, was doing my emails, and I came across an email that I actually printed out, and I won't read it all because of Senate rules, but I just wanted to say a little bit. So Brent was an outstanding intern and has been trying to get a job at the Capitol ever since he worked for me this last summer. So he starts out by saying, "Hi, Terri. I know that in the past, most of my emails to you have been requesting a recommendation for a job. Today, I'm writing to you with a much more personal request. I remember the day that we went door knocking together last fall, and we spoke to the voter who was very vocal with his opposition to gay marriage, and he went on to thank me for my stand. And then he says, I'm a strong supporter of same-sex marriage as I myself am gay. I haven't told many people yet outside of a group of close friends, but I feel the need to tell you so that you understand that we are real people who just want to have the same rights as everyone else." Again, he asked me to reach out to you, my fellow senators. He says, appeal to them as a human being. Let them know that there are those out there afraid to be who they really are because they may be discriminated against. While this bill won't change everything overnight, won't do away with all discrimination, it's a good place to start. And then finally he says, I would be willing to speak to any of your colleagues, even in front of all of the Senate, and make my secret known to the world, just to ensure that no other child ever has to spend 10+ years of their life hiding who they really are like I did. So I stand here to make sure that Brent's voice is heard. Not everyone in my district feels the same way I do, and not everyone in my district wants me to vote green today. In fact, it's very, very divided. I am just overwhelmed with people on both sides of this issue. So now I just want to end with a message to those who don't stand where I stand today. And I want those people in my community to know how much I respect them, how I have listened to their words, how I don't think that they are filled with discrimination or hate, but yet rather have such strong commitment to their faith, to their values, and their beliefs. And I understand that they believe that taking this vote today could have unintended consequences to the way that our communities are organized and our families are organized. And so while I don't agree with them, I want them to know how proud I am to represent all of them as well, and to let them know that not every vote in today's chamber will be green. And so we are one Minnesota, and those of you who will be voting red today, you'll be voting red on behalf of my constituents who don't stand with me, and so I am grateful that we all have the opportunity to vote in keeping with our principles and our values. So thank you very much for allowing me to be part of this such an important conversation today.